Trump is leading this country into collective insanity. I think a lot of you are aware of that. I'm not saying everyone is going to go insane, but Trump is one of the most proficient enablers of mental derangement as a public figure, probably more so than any other public figure in the history of this country. I hope you are aware of that. I'm going to get to that in a minute. First thing I wanted to touch on was what he did yesterday. Trump, he vetoed a resolution passed by Congress. Passed by Congress, that means it was bipartisan. The resolution said that he has to get Congress's permission before engaging in further military action against Iran. Okay? Isn't that somewhere in the Constitution? Trump vetoed that. He called it, his word, insulting to his presidency. Insulting. That the Congress would say, before you start bombing another country, you have to get our permission. Now, first of all, the resolution was non-binding. It was introduced first in the House after Trump launched that airstrike that killed the Iranian general, Soleimani. There was concern in Congress that the leadership in Tehran and the leadership with this mad son of a bitch in Washington were getting close to all-out conflict. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be horrible? Can you imagine getting involved in a war in the Middle East with Trump as president? Jesus. Some of the lawmakers in the U.S. House and Senate wanted to make sure that they were restraining any further action that this psychotic son of a bitch Trump might take against Iran. God, we've got an awkward system, don't we? I mean, the framers never figured that a psychopath would wind up in the presidency. But even so, it's almost impossible to stop this son of a bitch, it seems. Well, Mitch McConnell had a chance, but that dirty bastard, he allowed it just to continue. Mitch McConnell. The Constitution gives Congress the power to declare war. Period. But that doesn't matter to a maniac like Trump. He said the resolution passed by Congress implied that his own authority to use military force was limited to defending the United States and our forces against imminent attack. That's what he said. And in a statement that somebody wrote for him, because there are hyphenated words and compound sentences in it, so you know he didn't write it. But in a statement over his signature, Trump said, that is incorrect. We live in a hostile world of evolving threats. And the Constitution recognizes that the president must be able to anticipate our adversaries' next moves and take swift and decisive action in response. That's what I did. End quote. Now, do you think Trump wrote that? If you do, check yourself into the nearest mental health clinic, really, because you are far gone. The tension between the United States and Iran is totally unnecessary. It's brought about by these crazy fuckers who comprise Trump's inner circle of gangsters and miscreants and liars and Christian white men and a couple of Jews. They're hell-bent on destroying the country. A bunch of us have been saying this for 3 fucking years. What does this man have to do before it becomes apparent that that's exactly what his objective is? Because in that destruction, then Trump and his brown shirts can assume dictatorial power. This is happening, as the saying goes, in real time, right before our eyes. And what are we doing? We're letting this happen. Jesus Christ. As far as Iran and the United States are concerned, of course, tensions really started to hit the boiling point after Trump said, fuck the nuclear deal between Iran and world powers that was signed in 2018. And when he pulled us out, he reimposed these crippling sanctions on Iran. And now we have a pandemic. I mean, that country is in desperate need of help. This son of a bitch in the White House, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. No, fuck him. And last May, a year ago, under Trump's psychotic direction, the United States sent thousands more troops, including long-range bombers and an aircraft carrier, to the Middle East in response to what the psycho son of a bitch Trump called a growing threat of Iranian attacks on U.S. interests in the region. What would that be? The murderous family that runs Saudi Arabia? Oh, well, that's probably true. Israel? Yeah, that's probably true, too. So tensions got out of hand. Well, not completely out of hand, but really spiked when U.S. forces killed the general who, Soleimani, happened to be one of the most, whether we like it or not, one of the most popular, revered leaders in Iran. So we don't give a shit. You know, that'd be like the Brits saying, well, we killed George Washington. Yay! The revolutionary forces in this country would have been very pissed off. Wouldn't they have been? And yes, that's a valid comparison. So after we assassinated, or Trump assassinated Soleimani, Iran responded, if you'll remember, with a ballistic missile attack on a base in western Iraq where U.S. troops were present. No Americans were killed. What did Trump say? Well, 3 or 4 of them had headaches. Filthy son of a bitch. More than 100 American service personnel suffered traumatic brain injuries from the blast, directly attributable to Trump and his psychosis. Now, just ahead of the attack on Soleimani, Trump didn't consult with anybody. He didn't consult with congressional leaders. He might have talked to these crazy fuckers around him, like the Nazi Jew Stephen Miller. I'm sure he had some input. And his fucked up son-in-law and his fucked up sons. But Congress? Nah. So the Trump gangsters did send Congress a notification explaining why they decided to assassinate Soleimani. But they labeled it classified, so nobody could talk about it. Jesus Christ. And then Trump, the pig that he is, told some of his hired hands to go to Congress and brief the lawmakers on what was done and why it was done. And when that happened, Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced a vote on the resolution calling the killing of Soleimani, quote, provocative and disproportionate, end quote. And then Trump, when the resolution was passed, or no, yesterday when he vetoed it, he said that resolution, get this, Trump said the resolution was based on misunderstandings of facts and the law. Like this ignorant lump of shit has any idea about facts or the law? In a statement, Trump said this, written by one of his hired hands, quote, 4 months ago, I took decisive action to eliminate Qasem Soleimani while he was in Iraq. Iran responded by launching a series of missiles on our forces stationed in Iraq. No one was killed by these attacks. End quote. Jesus Christ. And then Trump, being the ignorant son of a bitch that he is, he said that the strike on Soleimani was authorized by law, including the War Powers Act, to force to use force against Iraq in 2002, 18 fucking years ago. And he also claimed Article 2 of the Constitution. This pig is always claiming Article 2 of the Constitution, which outlines presidential powers. He doesn't know what the fuck they are, but one of his hired hands will whisper in his ear and fill his head with all this, I don't know, this kind of imperialist bullshit that then Trump said, oh yeah, well, I can kill anybody on Fifth Avenue or in Iraq or wherever. I'm the leader. I'm the decider. Oh, wait, that was George Bush, wasn't it? Crazy bastards.
Hi, Truth Seekers. Kathy Malloy here. During this global crisis, take care of yourselves and your family. Maybe catch up on your Malloy cast. We are 100% Truth Seeker supported, as you know, and over the last year, we've become a lean, mean, two-person broadcasting machine. We've tightened our belts so Mike can keep screaming into the night because we are committed to this fight. We won't surrender the airwaves or our country to the flying monkey fascists as long as you're joining us around the campfire. And by that, I mean supporting this program by funding Resistance Radio on Patreon. Any amount helps keep it lit and keep the lights on in the Malloy home studio. Patreon supporters will have exclusive access to a special patron-only weekly broadcast, which will likely include me and possibly Molly. We also have some nice thank you gifts like an exclusive patron Truth Seeker t-shirt. Visit MikeMalloy.com and click on the big patron link on the main page. You can't miss it, and we can't do it without you.